share the screen. Okay, now let's continue the discussion. So last time we made our attempts to work out productivity ratio. We learned the interpretation and how to, and I told you after the interpretation, you have to normally find out what probably caused any poor performance at any point in time. Then suggest remedy for it. And mostly that is what management to do. After these ratios, it work out by the account staff, lower level staff. But when it comes to finding out causes of poor performance and the needed remedy, mostly at management or board meeting, these things will be discussed at any point in time. So now let's look at liquidity ratio. Now here we are trying to find out if the firm is able to meet its short-term commitment as and when they fall due. In fact, this ratio mostly very crucial for business because this ratio can give us a fair idea whether the business pay for a short-term debt so as to avoid insolvency. Because if you own somebody and you're supposed to pay him in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, it's not really a big deal. As long as the debt is not due, what you mean the person might not even remember that you owe the person. But if the debt is due within a year, then even you might try to hide from the person because the debt is due and you cannot pay. So your ability to pay your short-term debt is very, very crucial for the survival of the business. And your ability to pay is measured by the liquidity ratios, where we compare your current assets to your current liabilities. Do you have enough current assets to pay for your current liabilities? We want to know. And the first one is the current ratio. That look at your current assets over your current liability. And as we went through the financial other time, I told you the current asset are the resources that will give you current benefits within one accounting period, while the current liabilities are debt you need to pay within one accounting period. And these are balance sheet items. So please get your financial statements ready so that at least you can get the figures as and when you need to get the figures. So here, we need our current assets for 2022. But let me copy the years here so at least if you go high, then you can still relate. We are still doing the company. Okay. So can you check and give me the current assets for 2023? The current assets, okay, 260,402.
02.
Then you have 228,867. So let me just copy them. For our next discussion, I have everything on the Excel sheet. So just be matching the Excel sheet. Okay. All divided by our current liabilities. So can you get a current liability for me instead of going back?
198.
Okay, so for 2023 divided by
198,765.
765, then 2022
345,406.
345406. Okay, so let me copy them here before I put the consistent so that at least you know the figures we picked. And this measured in proportion or in times. It's measured in proportion or in times. So how many times are you able to pay your short-term debt with your current assets? Okay. So in 2023, as you can see, we were able to cover our short-term debt 1.3 times. Or some make it 1.3 is to 1. So you can make it times or look at it in proportion. 1.3 is to 1. Whichever way you choose to go is fine. Because talk about the same thing. So here 0.66 is to 1. Yeah. Remember the rule of thumb for this one, if there's no benchmark, is to have at least 2 times. Just a moment, the internet. Okay. The lights just went off. So let me just. I'm coming on to connect. Okay. So let's continue. So the rule of thumb for this, mostly we expect you to be able to cover your short-term debts at least 2 times. That means you have double your current assets to pay for your current liabilities. That's a rule of thumb. So if you are going by the rule of thumb, then it presupposes that the firm is not doing well. His ability to cover its debt as and when they fall due is a problem. That means the firm do not have enough current assets to meet its short-term obligation. But if we are using 2022 as the benchmark, it means the firm ability to cover its debts has improved. Because initially, in 2022, it seems the firm had more short-term debt than current assets. That means the firm did not have enough current assets to pay for its current liability. But if we come back to 2023, the situation has improved, although it's still not the best, but you can see the situation has improved quite well. So that is the current ratio. Your ability to pay your current liability with all your current assets. But in reality, some of the current assets are not liquid. That means they cannot be turned into cash easily. And the key among them is the stock. Imagine I owe you, the amount is due and come to me for money. And I told you, oh, please, you go away. I'm waiting to sell my goods. When I sell my goods, I'll pay you. Indirectly, you're telling me that if you don't sell, you won't pay. That's what you're telling me. That if you don't sell, you won't pay. All things being equal. I don't think you'll be happy with that comment or information. So let's take away our liabilities. Yeah, sorry for that. So take away your stock. Do you still have enough to pay your current liabilities when they fall due? So here we subtract our stock from our current assets. So current assets less inventory or stock, whatever is put there, divided by your current liabilities. So take away stock. Do you still have enough to pay your debt as and when they fall due? So I'll come here. So check your so can you check and give me the current as the stock? So on the same thing, but here we subtract the stock from the current assets. So what is the stock figure for 2023? Can you check what is the stock figure, your inventory figure for 2023? Hello?
Dog 128212.
128212. So subtract your stock from your current assets before you divide it by the liabilities. Then we do same for 2022. 2022, what was the stock figure for 2022? So try from the current asset.
Dog,
Yeah,
yeah, the 2023 is 101301, and then the 2022 is the 128212.
okay. So 2023 is
Um, 101301.
101, 101,
301.
301.
Yes, and then the 2022 is the 128212.
Okay, 2022. Okay, that's right, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just copy so that your fit, I know where the figures were coming from. Okay, so interpretation. In 2023, we could meet our short-term obligation 0.8 times. That means our current asset less our stock could pay for only 80% of our current liabilities. It couldn't pay fully all our current liabilities. It could only match 80% of our current liabilities. Whilst in 2022, without the stock, we could only pay for our current liabilities 0.29 times. That would be around 29%. That means that if you take away stock, you don't have even the resources to meet your short-term obligation. But if you are using 2022 as a benchmark, and there will be an improvement, covering your short-term debts around 29%, increasing to 80%, I think that would be a massive improvement. But if we compare ourselves to the rule of thumb, and for this ratio, it's supposed to be 1.5. Obviously, we are not meeting our coverage ratio of 1.5:1 or 1.5 times, though there have been some improvements. Then if you want to be very rapid, in fact, in some books, they also refer this to this as the asset test ratio. But strictly, the asset test ratio will focus only on the cash and cash equivalents. So asset test ratio will focus only on cash and cash equivalents. That means your current assets less all other current stock, prepayment, debtors, less of them to remain only your cash, either at hand or at the bank, or any liquid investment, if there's any. Over your current liabilities. So when we go to, so let me just go down and see the financial statement. For this one, the cash and cash equivalent. Okay. Okay. So basically that will be the cash and bank balances. That will be the cash and cash equivalent. In this case, cannot see any liquid investment like why we fix the piece or something that we can relate to. So we will pick the cash and cash equivalents. So let me just type and go and paste them. So here is 106,449. Then we have 43,326. So let me take them up there and let's see how our position to pay our debts will look like. So is this divided by the liability? This is cash and cash equivalents. So divided by the current liability. So I'll put the figures here just in case you have to revise, that you know where we had the figures from. Okay, so equals to okay. So in 2023, we could meet basically half of our liabilities using our cash. So if it becomes critical, we are supposed to clear all our short-term debts with the cash available. In 2023, we could pay closely around 54% of our liability. Whilst in 2022, we could pay like 11 points, almost 12%, because we could cover our liabilities 0.54 times in 2023, whilst in 2022, we could cover 0.11 or 0.12 times. That means that the cash available, being cash at hand, cash at bank, we don't have enough to pay our liabilities as and when they fall due. And that is a problem. But at least if we use 2022 as a benchmark, we have improved from covering 0.11 times to 0.53 times. And that's a massive improvement. But the rule of thumb here is supposed to be 1:1. That means at least your cash should be able to meet squarely your current liabilities. But here, we are not able to meet that. And that is a problem. But at least there's no improvement if we use the 2022 as a benchmark. So in general, the firm has to improve its liquidity position, either to improve on its current assets or find a way of reducing its current liabilities. So that's why you have to set where the problem comes from. Is it that the current liabilities has increased? Just a moment. I think just a moment. Okay, I think when I didn't correct this one. So let me correct this one. The stocks for 2022. I did it in the main formula, but what I posted here, I did not include, I did not correct it. So let me just correct it here, just in case it confuses you. Okay. I think that is we are good to go now. Yeah. So the firm has to improve on its liquidity position because it's not doing very, very well. If you become critical and all your creditors, liability holders are coming for the money, you don't have enough to pay. That can cause your firm to be insolvent or may force you to sell some assets of the company before you can pay. And that is not good enough. Then we turn our attention to efficiency ratio or activity ratio. Some call it management ratio. How we are able to manage our resources. So are you very efficient in managing your resources? We want to know. First, we look at how many days it takes you to pay your debt. And also, how long it takes you to collect your debts. So first, let's look at the debtors collection period. Now, what is the formula for debt collection period? That would be debtors over credit sales. Times 365 days. Because measures in days. How many days does it take you to collect your debt from your debtors, your accounts receivables? How many days does it take to get your money back from them? In video case, definitely at one point in time, you may sell on credit. But I want to be sure that if you have enough money to pay for You saw on credits. We want to know if you are able, as a firm, to collect your debts as and when they fall due. Now here, the issue is the credit sales. Sometimes the credit sales may not be clear in the question. So I don't have information of credit sales. At that point, you may use the net sales. If there's no net sale too, then you can fall on the sales figure. We can use those as proxies for credit sale. But we see credit sales. If there's no credit sale, use net sales. If there are not net sales, we use the sales figure as a proxy for the credit sales. And that is one of the criticism of ratios. Like you can get different proxies at any point in time. And that might give you a different picture as to what the issue really is. Now, what is the receivable or debtors figure as per the question? Debtors figure, all these should be in your balance sheets. That's the trade and other receivables. Okay. So you have trade other receivables, no 20. We go to no 20, but I get some better details about it. Just focus on what we have here. So here is 41,758, and out of 2022 is 33,707. So I just take them. Then can we get our sales figure? I think the sales figure came up somewhere. Yeah, we got what profit margin. So our sales figure is here. I can easily print them. That's one which of our ratios. When you work it out, some of the figures might not need to go and consult um the question again. I have some of the figures already here. Times 365. So I'll copy it just here for revision's sake. Okay. Then I go on to that of the 2022. The sales figure here, okay, was 63. But all these are on the income statement. I go and pick them up. To make it easier, and pick them from here. All these are the income statements. So it's your debtors divided by your sales figure, because that's what is available to us, times 365 days. Okay, so in 2022, it was taking us 19 days on average to collect goods that we sold on credit. By 2023, it's taking us 16 days. Is it good or bad? Has there been an improvement in our efficiency in collecting our debts? Has there been an improvement? I think I've been just been talking. I think for now, let's discuss. I'll leave that now. I'll leave the interpretation to you, the discussion to you now. So we are using 19, almost 19 days to collect our debt in 2022. But currently we are using roughly 17 days to collect our debts. So how will you comment on performance? Good or bad? How will you comment on performance, please? For instance, I don't mind giving you the ratios in exams for you to write a report on it. So your ability to interpret comment performance and suggest solution is the most crucial one. I don't mind at all giving you the ratios in exams, but you just write a report on it. So how do you comment on performance, please? Who is coming? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering the 2 days, I think this year's performance is better than the previous year, because if they were using 19 days to collect sales, to make the sales, and now they are doing 16 days. 16 days is much more better than the 19 days.
You're not looking use break social. They're using it to collect their debts. So let's be very particular about the ratio. Here is the ability to collect their debts, not to make sales. So at least
All right,
they
sir.
used to use close to 20 days to collect their debts in 2022, but that have reduced to almost 17 days. That may be good. In fact, it's not too extreme. If it was too extreme, then probably you may talk about you squeezing your debtors. But from closing 19 to 17 days, I don't think they are squeezing their debtors so much. So they have improved their efficiency in collecting their debts. Now let's see, are they also efficient in payment of their debts? Are they efficient when they have to pay their debts? We have to know. And that is the creditors over credit purchases. But if there's no credit purchases, we go with the purchases figure. But if there's no purchases figure, we go with the cost of sales figure. So first, we have to search for the credit purchases figure. If there is no credit purchases figure, we look out for the purchases figure. If you have no purchase figure, then you can use the cost of sales as a proxy for the credit sales. So for now, let's go and get our creditors. Okay, so let me go down. Let's see our trade. Our trade payables, we have them here. So our trade payables, we have 80, 84,594 for 2023. Then you have 113,140. Please, somebody should check out the cost of sale figure for me so that you can get it fast.
No,
This is a trade
it's
payable.
113.
Doc, the first
Sorry.
one is
Yeah,
the
I think I didn't go to the extreme. Okay, the first one is the 113.
Yeah,
Okay, that is good. So 113, then you have 8 for that 362. Okay, that is great. Okay. Now we need a cost of sales figures. What is the cost of sales for 2023? That should be in the
569
569
972.
972.
Yeah.
This also measures in days 365. So I'll just copy it here for future. Then
Yeah, it's 475.
that is 475.
475 876.
76 times
Yeah.
365 days. Okay, who can interpret this for us? Let's also interpret this to us. Who can? Who can try? Payment to accreditors.
All right, sir, can I try?
Try.
Yes, so in the previous year, they were paying their debt within 64 days. But in the current year, they've been able to negotiate with the suppliers and they are paying their debt in 72 days, which means that it's going to help them in their cash management because they will not be paying the debt early. Because they will not be paying the debt early.
Okay. So they use almost 65 days in paying their creditors in 2022. By 2023, that number of days of payment creditors has increased to 72 days. That means they are able to keep the creditors' money to finance their business much more longer than they used to be. Now, on a fair value, it's good because like you're able to delay payments, use the money and get more returns before you pay. But it can also be bad because if you used to use 65 days to pay me, and I saw that you have added one more week, I think your suppliers might not be happy. You may not be satisfied that you're taking so long a time to pay them. So mostly you have to talk, if it has good and bad side, you have to give us both perspectives. So at management meeting, we can have a holistic picture, holistic understanding of what has been done. So though comparatively, we are able to delay.
Okay, Eva. Yeah,
Oh,
this is the last one.
yeah.
The last one, I'm going to do for Eva. Okay, the rest I'll go.
Though comparatively, we are able to delay payments and finance money can be used to finance our business. But for business ties, business relation, it may haunt us. You don't take care, your suppliers may want to sell to your competitors. If the competitors is able to pay them early enough. In fact, also looking at this, most time we expect you to collect your debt before you pay. And here is good because we collect our debt and pay it. But look at the difference between the time you collect your debt and the time you pay it. If your suppliers know that you collect your debt early, you squeeze your customers to take your money back. But you delay payment to them, there can be a reaction. So it's not in your interest to unduly delay payments. So you have to speak from both angles. Comparatively, it may be good, but practically, business type, business relation wise, it may be poor, may be bad. So how do you collect in 17 days and it takes you 22 days to pay? And that's a problem, which you have to look at management meeting. Very, very crucial. So this one is good and bad. And you have to give us both sides of the coin. Any question on this? Any question?
Okay, Doc, one other contribution.
Okay.
I think it also indicates a stress signal for companies. Because if there's somebody assessing your company and then he gets to know that it takes a longer time for you to pay your debts, they start thinking that maybe you are under stress or maybe you are financially incapable of handling your payments. So that's one other angle to this particular
that
ratio.
That will also be, Any other? Okay. So now let's look at the next one. We have so many other things in the slide. You have about 3 here. What is the other ratio? Under the efficiency ratio, let me guess. But you cannot exhaust everything in class, so you have to read widely to also know other ratios. Sometimes the name of the ratio itself can give you the formula to use. Yeah. So here, I think you have the, stock turnover period. Now look at, on average, how long it takes you to sell your stock. On average, how long it takes you to sell your stock. Okay, so let me come here. Stock turnover period. On average, how many days it takes you to sell your stocks? That is given to us by the average stock over cost of sales times 365. Average stock mostly is supposed to look at average stock is supposed to look at your opening and closing stock. But for questions that might not have for the two, for 2023, the closing stock of 2022 will opening stock for 2023. So can you easily get the average stock? But you can't get it for 2020 because there's no 2021 data. If that is the case, then you focus on the closing stock. Unless there's data for you to get the average stock for each of the period. If not, then you use only the closing stock for each of the period. So here in this question, we have 2023, 2022. So 2023, closing stock is there. 2022, stock is there. And the 2022 will be the opening stock for 2023. So can easily get average stock. But for 2022, we don't have 2021 closing stock. That will be the opening stock for 2022. So if we use average for 2023 and use only closing stock for 2022, that will not be right. So if there is no information to get average stock for the two period, we advise that you use the closing stock for the two. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Sir, no, your sound wasn't clear, so please come
I'm
again.
saying the formula is average stock over cost of sales. And average stock here, you mean your closing stock plus opening stock divided by 2. That gives you average stock. But you use the average stock only when you have data that can give you average stock for the main period and the benchmark period. Here, we are doing trend compared to years. Now, for 2023, we can get the average stock because we have the closest of 2023 And the closing stock for 2022 is the opening stock for 2023. So you can easily get the opening and closing stock and find the average. But when you get to 2022, we have the closing stock. There is no information in 2021 that can help us to know the opening stock for 2022. So if you use average stock for 2023 and you use only closing stock for 2022, I think formula-wise, it doesn't really add up because the basis should be the same. So if you have a question and you cannot get average stock for the two period, that the time period and the benchmark, then advice is that you use only the closing stock. So here, we go by the closing stock for each period instead of the average stock because there's no information to work out the average stock for 2022. So focus on the closing stock for each of the period. And this is measured in days. So here we go and take a closing stock. That will be the inventory in the balance sheets. But I can get it from here. Remember when we did the quick ratio, we deducted the
It is 101.
for 2023, the closing stock inventory.
Yeah, it is. You made a mistake here. Yes, what you've typed is the non-current liability.
Oh, sorry.
Supposed to.
It's 10, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
101.
Okay, it's 1013. Yeah, I've seen it here.
Okay.
Okay, that is great. Oh, thank you. You are following. Okay, but the 2020 one is okay. The 128
128.
or 21. Okay, that is fine. Yeah. So the closing stock will be divided by the cost of sales. The cost of sales was used for the greatest payment period, if you could remember.
Yeah, it is 569.
Yeah. 5, 6,
92.
9,
Yeah,
9, 7, 2, right?
72. Yeah,
This times 365 days. So let me copy, leave it here for future reference. I can put the coastal town there to get my answer. Okay. Measured in days. Now let me go here. Here the stock was 128,212, and the cost of sales was
475.
475,876.
876.
Yeah, times 365 days. I copy, leave the figures here, then I bring my equal sign here. Okay. Now, so interpretation. On average, we use 98 days to sell our stocks in 2022, whilst in 2023, we use 64 or 65 days on average. So on average, we are selling our average stock within 98 days. By 2023, we could sell averagely in 65 days, roughly. Are there be an improvement in our ability to sell our goods? Has there been an improvement in our ability to sell our goods? Has there been an improvement in our ability to sell our goods?
Yes, dog.
Yes, there.
Yeah. because we have reduced from 98 to 64. So every 64 days, we have to sell our average stock. In fact, you can look at this another way around. When we look at what we call just stock turnover without the period, this one measure the number of times we are able to sell in a year. And that is equals to your cost of sales divided by your stocks. It's not on the slide, but as I told you, you can't cover all the ratios in the slides. That's how we did. So this one is not in days. So when you turn the formula upside down, you look at the stock turnover without the period. That means I'm not going to measure it in days. So here we just flip the coin. So we have the cost of sales now as the numerator without any days. It is measured in number of times. How many times are we able to sell in a year? Averagely. So let me do the flip for this one. So on average, we ought to sell our average stock almost 7 times in a year, whilst for 2022, it was just about 4 times in a year. Yeah. So still, it will give you the same response. So we have improved the number of times we are able to sell our stock. In fact, if this was only the credit, the purchase figure, you can get that, but I think it still look fine. Okay. Yeah. So can you just talk turnover period or stock turnover? They all talk about the same thing. Now, the last ratio we want to look at under this is I think is a fixed asset turnover. I think so. Where we look at our ability to use our assets to get sales. Yeah, the fixed asset turnover. How you are able to efficiently use our fixed assets to sell. In fact, in a business, when you have fixed assets, we expect you to utilize the fixed assets in making sales. Okay, fixed assets turnover equals to it's just only this ratio that normally you see normally the first word will be the numerator, the other will be the numerator, but this one the other way around. So you have to be careful. So it's your sales or your turnover over your fixed assets. When we add to our fixed asset, fixed asset are the resources that we own, which we expect to use for more than one accounting period. When you add more fixed assets to your asset portfolio, we expect you to generate more sales. This multiplied by 100. So are you able to generate more sales for the fixed assets we acquire for the business? We want to know. So here, What is the sales figure for 2023? We used it earlier on in the
908
908.
647
908.
647
6 or 8? 6
647.
4 7. Okay. Now go to the balance sheet. Get me the fixed assets.
Okay, so the fixed assets are the property, plant, and equipment, right
Yeah.
of use assets, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That is the non-current assets.
okay.
So what's happening? So give me the fixed assets for 2023. The total non-current assets.
Okay. 149.
Hey, do you have only one person in class? 149
805.
805. Do you have only one person in school today?
Okay, all here.
Hey, I think we should also get a different, but also respond. So we know that we are all at par and picking the right figures. So quarter should pick the right figures. Okay. Then let's go to 2022. The sales figure was
631 477
63147.
477.
And what was the non-current assets in total?
180 680 0680.
680. Okay. Okay. So our fixed asset was able to generate almost 607% sales for 2023, whilst in 2022, the sale generating capacity of our fixed asset was 349.5 or 350%. So the ability of our fixed asset to generate sales in 2022 was almost 350%, whilst in 2023 is almost 607%. Have you improved on our ability to generate sales from our fixed assets? Have we improved on our ability to generate sales from our fixed assets?
Yes, we have.
We have. Are you sure?
Let's go.
Why? Why do you say so? Okay. So there will be a massive improvement. In fact, every asset you acquire in a business, because assets are supposed to give us economic benefits. So any asset you bring to a business is supposed to help us get money into the business. And I think we have improved over the years in relating sales with our fixed assets. Now let's look at gearing ratios, which also called leverage ratios or capital structure ratio. In fact, this ratio is used to measure risk. Basically, your financing of the company, do you have more of the owner's funds in the company, or you have more of outsiders funds in the company? If you have more of outsiders funds in the company compared to that of the owner, that makes your business quite risky because you have borrowed so much to finance the business compared to what outsiders we are both so much compared to what the owners are contributed. That means the owners' funds cannot even pay for the outsiders' contribution to the firm. And that makes your firm risky. That makes your firm risky. So firms that have more of outsiders' funds compared to the owners' funds, we call them highly geared companies, highly geared businesses. Firms that have more of outsiders' funds compared to the owner's contribution, we call them highly geared businesses. But firms that have less of the outsiders fund compared to the owner, these firms are lowly geared companies. So this is a risk management ratio in there. So now let's see if the company is highly geared or lowly geared. And let's see what advice you give. First, we can do what we call capital gearing. Capital gearing. Now, this is equals to long-term debt over capital employed. Do you remember capital employed?
Yes.
Okay. Times 100. Here, you realize that the capital employed is a function of equity and long-term debt. So the benchmark for gearing is 50. Any percentage above 50 means you have more of long-term debt in your capital structure compared to the owner's fund. And that makes your business highly geared. That makes your business risky. So if you want to know how risky your business is, this ratio will help you to know for better decision making and predictions in the future. Let me just reduce the font size here too. Okay. So go to the question. What's the long-term liability of the company for 2020, 2023?
19
19574.
574.
I'll go up there and put the capital employed. It was work earlier on under the return on capital employed.
Yeah, when you sum it up for 2023, it is 211.
Okay, so let me just print it down here. I'll use it straight away.
Okay.
Okay, I think okay, I think that, so let me adjust then okay. So I did not decrease the size. I thought it was too long. Okay. So for 2023 was the 19 plus this the whole capital employed, right?
Yes.
So already done. We can go there and pick the total figure. I don't need to pick the full amount because it's done already. But sometimes, for the sake of your learning, you choose to bring it this way for you to know what you are about. Okay, so I'm done with 2023. Then Can you give me the current liabilities?
13171.
Long-term liability, right? Long-term debt for 2022.
Yeah,
1,171.
13171. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the percentage debts, long-term debts in the entire capital portfolio was 20.5% in 2022. Whilst in 2023, they have reduced to 9.25 or 26%. So at least for 2022, we are only geared because we are below the 50% threshold. But in 2023, this have reduced further. That means the riskiness of the company has reduced. Our risk level was 20.53%, but this, please just a moment. So the company over the years has not been highly geared. Even the 2022 that was little high, we are still below the 50%. That means we finance our business with more of the owner's contribution rather than asset contribution. So gearing of 20.5 is low. That is low risk, but this will reduce further. I think is good. But having debt in your financial structure is not bad, because research has shown that there's a leverage effect. Companies who have debt in the capital structure normally performs better than companies who don't have any debt in the capital structure. But the problem we are trying to solve is what should be the required level of liability, long-term debt, that will make you get high financial performance. That is what the research has still not unraveled. The optimum capital structure, the optimum leverage that will help the company to get better performance. But having some amount of debt in your financing agreement is good for business performance. Now, one way of also explaining this one is not comparing the capital employed, but you compare the long-term debt straight to the equity. So you can have the what you call the debt to equity ratio. If I don't need to compute the two, normally when you are assessing a business, because let's talk about the same thing. But here, just that you compare the debt to equity straight away. So long-term debt over equity times 100. So here, the benchmark will now be 100% instead of 50. Because if a long-term debt are the same as equity, you get 100%. If the long-term debt are more than equity, you get more than 100%. If the long-term debt are less than equity, you get a less than 100%. So the threshold is 100%. Anything above 100% means that you have more long-term debts than equity. That makes your company highly geared. And any ratio less than 100% means you have less long-term debt than equity. That makes your company lowly geared. So here, it will not be capital employed now. It will just be the long-term debt over equity. So I can just take away the long-term debts in the framework. So here, just the long-term debts over your equity times 100. But the resultants will not be that different from earlier on. So here too is a long-term debt. So here, this is the capital employed. So we take away the long-term debt from the equation in the capital employed. So now it's debt over equity. Okay. Yeah. So you can still see the company is lowly geared. So we don't need to work out the two. One of them will give us a fair picture of what you are trying to present. So your company is still lowly geared because you have more of equity than the long term in the capital structure. Lastly, and this is what we call the interest cover. Are you able to generate enough profits to meet the payments of your interest? You know, interest is seen as an expense. So it's payable through profit. It's payable through profit. So are you making enough profits to pay your interest? Here, the profit is profit before interest and tax over the interest payable. And do you have any interest in the question? So let me even check before we okay. Okay, finance cost is there. So that is with the attributable interest. Okay, so let's go. So this profits before interest and tax. And that's basically the operating profits, as we said at that time, divided by the interest payable. In this case, that will be a finance interest payable. That look at how many times our profit can pay our interest. In fact, the rule of thumb is between 3 to 7 times. If you are making enough profits that can cover your interest between 3 to 7 times, is good. It means you're making enough profit to pay interest. In fact, most financial institutions will look at this ratio. If a person, if it's a term loan, where you pay interest before you pay the principal, you want to see if you're able to make enough profit every now and then to pay your interest as of when they fall due. So, what's the earning before interest and tax for 2023? That will be the operating profit for the finance income and the finance costs. What is the profits before finance income?
222.
122.
No. 222.
222.
688.
688. And the interest payable, the finance cost is how much?
9999.
9999.
Yeah.
Okay. That is good. This measure in times. Then in 2022, the
We
point
have
interest that is what?
32465.
32465. And what is the interest payable? The finance cost there?
18453.
18453. Okay. Let me copy. So at least your vision, you know the figures we picked. Okay. So in 2022, we were able to cover our interest 1.76 times. That means our ability to use our profits to pay our interest was 1.76 times. That was not good in 2022 because it did not even meet the rule of thumb of 3 to 7. But fast forward to 2023, we are able to pay our interest 22 times. That is good. That would be massive improvement. That means for the any loan you take, you are making enough profit to pay your interest. So this is an improved, this is good performance. Probably due to, I don't know, most likely our loan portfolio saw a reduction. Yeah, because or no, our loan portfolio is still what the long term that's 19,574. It's not an increase, but strangely our debt level has reduced. But at least our profit levels increase. What a period. Yeah. So since we are making enough profits over the period compared to the interest we are paying, so the finance cost here, price strain. Can you check the for me the 2022? Is it still 18,453?
Yeah,
Okay, the difference is
18453.
that's fine.
Say,
Yeah.
did you say the interest should cover within 3 to 7 times?
Yeah, this is 7 times. That is the rule of thumb. But
Yeah.
beyond 7 times is good. You're making enough profits.
Okay,
But
so the 22 is good.
yeah, it's okay. It's very, very good.
Okay.
That you're directly enough profits to pay your interest. And that is good. So that is gearing. Now let's look at some of the few investors ratios. And I think we're done with the first part of basic description analytics of a financial statement. Investors ratio. So these are the ratios that if you want to invest in a firm, you may not want to look at for. Now let me get to the main financial statement where you copy this. Let me see. Okay, let me just come. Okay, let me go through the ratio. Let's see which one we can easily work out for. Sometimes we need a lot of information to go to the invested ratios. Yeah. At least we can do return on equity. That I know the ratio should be readily available. Dividend per share. Okay. I think financial statement. If you can get the number of ordinary shares, I think you can work that one out easily. Earning per share too can work out. Okay. So now let me go into the financial statement, the main one. You have it. Is there any do you have a fair idea of the number of shares of the company? This one is like a picture, so it's difficult searching. Um, so let's go to the main financial statement. Do you have a fair idea of the number of shares in Unilever? Do your quick scan and let's see.
So I'm seeing basic earning per share and diluted earning per share.
Yeah, that one is the calculated ratio done. But I was trying to see if I can get a number of shares in Unilever. You can use that to calculate the earnings per share. This one we work out for us already. Unless probably we have to work back. But I know the number of shares should be somewhere in the financial statement. Okay. Okay.
Doug,
Hello.
please, do we want share price? Are we looking
No,
for the share price?
the total number of shares in the
Please, I'm seeing something at page 75, the last,
75. Okay.
yes, number of shares, something. The number of shareholders and then the holders percentage and then the number of shares and
Okay.
then number of holdings. I don't know.
Page 75, almost there. Let's see.
Talked about the other information, that's the analysis of shareholdings. I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. So yeah, number of shares. Okay, that is fine. So the company had one shareholders with equal voting and voted as follows. Voting in okay. So number of shares 1.5. Okay. Yeah. So number of shares is 65,500 and this is 2,500,000. Yeah, that is the number of shares. I suspect it won't change for 2021, mostly unless they do a right issue or issue more shares. This should not change. Yeah. So give that figure 62,000. This is 2,500,000. That is the number of shares in the company. That's what I needed. Yeah. So but note that in the main financial statement, we have 3 zeros up. So when we are working this one, we have to be extra careful. When we are working the issue with the per share ratios, we have to be very, very careful. Then we have to bring the 3 zeros added to, or take away the 3 zeros from the shares. If not, we will commit a big blunder. So have you picked the number of shares? It's a 2,500. This is a 2,500,000, right? That's what we picked up.
You said we should take away the 3 zeros, right?
Yeah, you can take the 2 zeros, or when you are reporting the figures for the financial statement, you add the 3 zeros. whichever way you should work it out. So you can use 62,500. So I can pick exactly the figures in the financial statement. But if you pick the total number of shares with the 3 zeros, then you have to add the 3 zeros to the figures to pick for the financial statement. So let's put the 62,500. But I just know that it's a 2 million though. But for the ratios, or the zeros up already, we will leave it as that. Yeah. So let me come to here. Our okay. So I'll put the number of shares. Let me probably put it somewhere here. Number of shares. $62,500. But that could be an issue, right? So please note that there are 3 zeros off. There are 3 zeros off. You have to note it. If not, when you are doing the work, but you might get confused as to how we came at the figures. So I'm putting this here to be the same as the financial statement with the 3 zeros off. Okay. So that this one is understandable, right? What I have done here. This is understandable to you?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, that is good. So now let's go on and work out the ratios. So let's see. The first one, we would do okay. Let's do the return on equity. That will be the earnings after tax and preferred dividends over the shareholders fund. That is over the equity. So return on equity, earnings after tax and preferred dividends over shareholders fund, which is the same as the total equity. So return on equity, we call it ROE for short. So earnings or profit before profit after tax and preference share dividends over shareholders fund. Shareholders fund, as explained here, is the same as the owner's equity, total equity to the owner. Okay. So what's the earnings after tax and preference? Normally, that would be the net profit less ordinary share. I don't think they have ordinary shareholders because it's not in their shareholding. So that will be the final net profits that we use for the net profit margin. That will be for the profit for the year. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that will be the total comprehensive income that we are going to use, because that is the total income available to the shareholders. Yeah, because the import material other things, they have actual losses and other things that come into a financial statement. Yeah. So even the net profit margin, if somebody have used the total comprehensive income, I don't think that's much of a problem. Yeah. Because most companies don't have these extraordinary items in them. But let's see to the profit the profit for the year. Let's do that. Yeah. That's one thing about ratios, because all the time the figure to pick to sometimes can become a problem. But at least whatever we discuss here, whatever you meet in exams, you use the profit for the year. Because that is the profit applicable to the shareholder. So you use the net profit for the period. Because they don't have any preference shareholders. So here, the total equity is looking at if all the return were going to the owners, what would be the percentage return on their fund? We want to know. We know we did a return on capital employed. That one look at the return we are making based on the total financing of the company when it comes to the owners one and that of the outsiders. But here we are focusing on the owner. So that will be your net profits over equity. And what was the net profit for 2023? What is net profit for 2023? Let's get the profit for the year. Because the profit attributable to the owners. What is the profit for the year?
Um, 141.
141. Okay.
352.
Okay. Let me bring it here. But let's get me the figures first so that it's almost 8. We have to. Okay, sorry. Get 1 4
1
1
352.
352. The owner's equity is in the capital employed from liability and the debt equity ratio. You can get the figure straight away from there. That is 191,868 times 100. Okay. Then go on to 2022. What was the net profits for the period, that period?
Net profit.
The profit for the year?
14836.
14836. And the owner's equity was 50970, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Times 100. Yeah. So in 2022, we made a return of 29%. Looking at the owner's contribution to the business, the amount of funds invested by the owners, we attracted a return of 29%. But fast forward to 2023, the return on the owner's investment is 73.67%. That is a massive improvement for the previous year. So it means the company is making more earnings for the owners. And that could be a good investment to buy if this trend continues. Because the dividends are going to get will manage from the earnings the company make over a period of what? Time. Then the next one, we take up the dividend per share. That is the dividends payable over ordinary shares. Remember, this is the total earning they are making on your investments, but it's not everything that they pay to you are dividend. So what you actually get will be measured by dividend per share. So you have dividend per share. And that will be the dividends payable by number of shares. Do you have any dividend payable in the question? In fact, if you have an income surplus, let's get a dividend payable. But sometimes the balance sheets might contain the dividend payable as in there. So you can just go there and pay the dividend payable. Let me go to the financial statement to check, because it seems this figure is still not that realistic. So let me see. I'm going to a financial statement. Let me see. And then per share. Because they should have given us an income statement that will let us know the dividend payable for the period. Because now in the balance sheet is the one that is yet to be paid. But looking at the one in the balance sheet, I don't think that was the dividend for the period. So let me go to, I think, footnote 29. So this will have to go to footnote 29. Probably that'll give me a better information. So footnote 29. We can also go there. Let's see. Footnote 29. Footnote 29. Because what we have in the balance sheets, I think is the one that they are not paid. But the paid part that we pay, let me see, 29. Or probably that year they reduce the dividend they paid. It's possible. Anyway. Okay. So when you go to footnote 29, you see the payment during the period. This does not even give us a very good picture of the actual dividend they paid.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm seeing something here. I don't know if that's what you're looking for. Dividends paid. That's page 19.
Page 19. Okay, let me see page
Cash
19.
flow from financial activities.
Okay. But normally the paid is different from payable. The paid is what they actually paid, but it's more likely they might declare, they might, yeah, so this is what they actually paid. But what were the total dividends they were supposed to pay? That's not my question. Well, probably we can just rely on the paid as probably a proxy for the one that was supposed to be payable. Yeah. Because the information here is not that clear. No, there should be an income surplus account where they indicate the dividends they are paying for the period. But in the absence of the one that is payable, then you can use the paid. So here you have 2023. So let me see 2022. If we can get the footnote can give me that for 2022 as I was trying to get. You know, to make it difficult to work out the dividends. So we realize that 22,284 was the dividend for the previous year. And they paid 1924 in the current year. So it's the information here is quite confusing. Because it's more like the previous year dividends that they paid in the current year. So the current year, we are not too sure of the dividends declared. Yeah. So I think with this confusion, I think we can leave it. Because in fact, it's not every ratio that you can calculate. You calculate the ratios based on the information provided to you. So as I sit here, I don't think we have enough information to work on the dividends per share. Looking at what we have here, if you have an income surplus account, that gives us a fair idea of the dividends for the period, and we can use that to work it out. But as I sit here, it's difficult to determine that because dividend paid for the previous year, we are not too sure. And since the previous year one that we paid during the current period, so the information is not complete. So you can leave the dividend per share out, then go to the next version that you can calculate. So you can use the earning per share. That one information is available. Know the earnings, the profit for the period. No more shares is available. So you can do the earnings per share. That information is available. So let's go to the earning per share. That's why you can do that one, but information is available. And then I'll end that earning per share. For the rest, you can go home, look at the formulas and think through. Because it's almost 9, and I believe you have to be at work tomorrow too. So let's do the earning per share. That is an easily attainable form, the financial statements. So assuming you are not retaining any of the profit for the year, and you are sharing all as, let's say, dividend, how much will each shareholder get per share? So the earning per share divided by number of ordinary shares. So if you are giving out all your earnings, sorry, just a moment. So earning per share equals to the profits, the same as this earning after tax and preference dividends over number of ordinary shares. So let me just copy this here. The company do not have any preference shareholders, so we can just use the earnings after the tax, but there's no preference shares, over the number of, so let me make this uniform, number of ordinary shares. Okay. So the earnings, we know the earnings here already, right? So this one is divided by the number of shares. And number of shares is 62,500 because there is zero up for the earnings. So the earnings divided by the number of shares that we have. So how much are you getting per share? That means if we should share all the earnings without retaining some, in 2023, you get 2.26 cedis per share. Let's check in 2022. So the earnings was 14836. So number of shares is 62,500. Okay. Okay. So in 2022, when we share all the earnings, each shareholder will get like almost 24 pesos per share. All things being equal. By 2023, if we share all earnings, each shareholder will get 2.26 cedis per share. And that has been a massive improvement in amount you get as a shareholder per your share. Yeah. So that is that. So there have been a massive improvement in the earnings we are going to get per the share we are holding. Yeah. We have other ratios there. Please take the formula, get your financial statement, put them, work them out, and see how it works. It's almost getting to 9, and we have to rest for tomorrow work. Yeah. Is there any questions based on what
With
we have
the
done?
other ratios,
Yeah.
we will need the dividend per share. So
So
I
the one
think
that
that's it.
you don't have the dividend, you cannot work it out. That
Yeah.
is the implication. Yeah. If you need a dividend, that means it cannot be worked out. You don't need the dividends, it could be worked out. Yeah. Okay. So I think that is that. We are done with basic discrete analytics. So I said that the diagnostic financial statement. Our next thing is to go into what we call common size analysis and detailed analysis, where we use ratios to prepare financial statements and make meaning out of it. That'll be a next discussion for over the weekend. Probably we may look at that. So thank you for joining. Yeah, I owe you 2 videos, and this will be the 3rd video. Perhaps let's send me a WhatsApp tomorrow. I forgot to try again if the attachment to work, the internet. So please try and remind me tomorrow so I can get all the videos for you before our next class.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you guys for joining. We will meet over the weekend. I'll share with you an Excel file that will contain what we are going to use for our next lectures. So I wish you all the best. Have a good night.
Okay.
Let me save this so that later on I can make it available to you. So let me see. Document, go to BDA. Okay, ratio analysis, BDA. Okay. So I'll share this Excel fast also with you for your workings. Okay. So we end here. We meet over the weekend. Most likely, one of the facilitators I mentioned earlier on will come over the weekend to take the class. All the best. Have a wonderful evening.